YouTube, Brian Phillips. I've got the mini WingDragon. Seems a little redundant to me. We're gonna fly this right now. This is a little 4-channel, excuse me, 3-channel. Yeah, that's 4-channel and throttle. So it's 4 channels. And this is supposed to be a trainer. So we're gonna see how it does. We're in beginner mode right now. There's no control over the, hey, that's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. There's no control over the tail wheel while you're on the ground. That's why I was just like, get it up. That's what she said. Okay, so in beginner mode, you can see we got limits on the pitch angle. The white kind of disappears on the sky right now.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got a little sliver of hope in terms of time to fly, and it's pretty bad. The rudder is effective.
Yeah.
Good gliding. I'm just gliding now. Look at that, guys. I'm liking the way this thing flies. It's got ailerons, elevator, and rudder. It does have a pesky elevator.
Oh man.
I know.
I hate those.
Yeah, who needs, you know, a properly adjusted plane does not need an elevator,
Pesky elevator,
says Ian, and nobody else. That's okay. Okay, here we go. Let me just show you how good this is. That is so cool. Right over the mountain. Let's see if we can come back this way. Guys, this thing is just really, it's a pretty good little plane. I'm liking the way it flies. As I understand, okay, so what do we come up for batteries on this one? This one's 380 milliamp hours.
Yep.
We got one with 3. And by the way, we did not realize we had 3 batteries because one of the batteries was inside of the plane like and stuffed into the fuse. Yeah, it was weird. So that's full bank and yank right there. That's, I'll show you full coordinated turn. Pretty good recovery. I'm liking it. Okay, so we're gonna go into the middle mode. Okay, so now we can go, oh wait, did that stall or did it just stop me? No, it'll let you go upside down. Guys, I'm liking the way this thing flies. It's not like maybe the best flying 4-channel plane we've ever seen, but it's definitely good. When I say it's not the best 4-channel plane we've ever seen, the Warbirds also fly quite good. And they are also a scale looking plane. I'm really liking the way this flies though, because you can slow it down nicely. And to be honest, you know what I want to do is I want to take the ailerons and just do some trim. Okay, so in beginner mode, it really helps with that pitch tendency because it's a little porpoisey there. When you got the auto leveling, it just takes it right out. It's not even a factor. So out of the throttle, just glide in here. And just so you know, it's not dead calm.
Mm-mm.
Guys, this plane is fun. This would be an all right beginner plane, really.
I'm surprised.
I know, me too. I thought it was a little bit weird looking, but it's actually quite nice. And yes, this is definitely below the FAA threshold for drone registry. I believe we measured in at like, what, like 100 grams or something? Oh, but that was because we had an extra battery in there. It was like 88 grams or 86 grams.
Yeah, I would say 89 or something, but even with 2 batteries.
So let's go up a couple mistakes high here. That's what we mean by a couple mistakes high, folks. When you're learning to fly, oh, it's warning me. Low voltage warning, are you kidding me? We have telemetry? Really? That's awesome.
Huh.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to land it on the runway. You good, camera crew?
Yep.
Nice. Hey. Nice, that was really good. Let's check it out. So it's beeping at me, meaning that the voltage is low. So I did suck through the battery pretty quick, but it's cold out, guys.
Yeah.
It's really cold.
Well, 380, that's not a very big battery.
Here, camera crew, hold this. I'll go ahead and show you what the battery looks like. One thing we don't like about this plane is that it's really kind of hard to grab that thing. Mm-hmm. Camera crew, one thumb maybe? Okay,
sure.
Good job. So, well, there's no reason you couldn't put a bigger pack in there.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's got a Molex connector, see, 380 milliamp hours. So I'm just gonna switch packs.
Oh, good. My hands weren't very cold.
You know what? We'll pause it. We'll come right back.
Here, take that before I pause.
Okay, so it's incredibly cold, so we're going to use one of the other batteries. This, like I said, this one came with 380 milliamp hours. 3 of them. There you go. That is so cool. Wow. So we actually do have some level of telemetry there. That is something I didn't know that this thing had in it. Now, the other thing is I felt like that was maybe just a touch on the nose heavy side. So I'm just going to get really aggressive here and try to stuff this down into the middle, kind of like that one battery that we didn't realize was in there. I want to see if I can get that in there. I just don't want it to interfere with the controls, which I don't know if I'm going to win that victory.
Wait, show me where you got it now.
I got it way in the middle.
Oh.
Way in the middle. So okay. I want to see how that does. Let's just, oh yeah, everything's working. Okay, cool. So we'll pause and come right back.
Okay.
So we're going to do a hand launch this time. Throttle up, give it a nice toss. Oh yeah, guys, that's good. I really like it. The battery in the middle is actually better. That is bizarre. I thought it'd be like really kind of almost too much, too pitch sensitive. But look at that. I'm really liking the way it flies. Guys, throw your battery in the middle. That was way better. Now, I don't have anything in there to hold it in place, and that's kind of a bit of a compromise, of course. No trade sides there. You're by the berm then. Okay. Thanks. So we appreciate you guys bearing with our lighting. We have been in the midst of a very wet, and not in a good way, kind of winter. Very cold, very dank. That is so cool, guys. I am like weirdly happy with this plane. Okay, so let's go to expert, and I'm gonna be Johnny on the spot with the controls. Okay, so here's expert. So now you can do whatever you want. I always feel like the controls are super wonky in expert on any of these XK planes. Even the good flying ones, just way pitch sensitive and not enough resolution on the controllers to really fly well. If you want to fly on expert, you might as well just get yourself a jumper or something of the sort, or Radio Master, just an open source, OpenTX transmitter, and then see if you can find the protocol. But I'm really liking this. I'm going to go to the middle mode now. The expert's just a little bit too wonky to keep the thing under control. Okay, so that's middle. So I don't know, it doesn't auto level, so what's the point? Why wouldn't I just go to the advanced mode automatically?
Right, what's the difference?
Well, you've got the elevator. You've got full pitch control now. I want auto leveling and the ability to go upside down. Okay, so I'm back in beginner mode. I need you by the berm up here, camera crew. Thanks, perfect. But look how nice that is. It's got good yaw authority with that little dinky rudder. And it just looks good up there in the sky. Let's try a snow landing here. I overshot my landing zone there. We'll go around and try to land in the front yard there, because this snow has that little bit of ice on it. It's really cool. You guys have been begging for a ski video. There you go. There's your ski video. Okay, so here's what I can tell you about this plane. I thought, really, I don't know, that thing looks a little lame, but it's actually not lame. The one thing I really like about it is it has full, 4-channel controls, but it actually does a good job. It's not just like 4-channel and like, they move, but then they're always sticky or whatever. This thing actually flies pretty good. You want to see if we can do it in the bowl? Let's see if we can do the bowl here. 50% throttle there. And it's not dead calm, folks. We probably got 5 miles an hour wind here.
At least.
Up against the trees, you want to go up on the sidewalk there? There you go. Good job. Thanks. Just using the rudder here. A little bit concerned about when the battery gets low, how it's going to respond. I want to be able to get altitude to come up here and land. That's full throttle now, by the way. I'm just loving the way it flies. It's really pretty good. Still a brushed motor, so it's not anything too out of the ordinary there, but it is a direct drive. And that's one reason why you may actually prefer the Eachine with a 400 millimeter warbird because they have the press fit. They have the press fit props that just rock right onto that little round fixture thing. They're gear driven, so they have a motor with a gearbox in them.
Yeah, those little props have been nice.
They've been really good. I don't think we've broke.
No.
But maybe one.
I think we lost one and then found it. I don't think it even broke.
Oh, that's right.
Because our son flies those a lot and they've been great.
This thing does a good job of holding altitude. It does a really good job of auto leveling, which is funny because it's kind of got a poly wing, a polyhedral wing, and it's got ailerons. So you might as well have dihedral if you have a polyhedral wing. It's going to fly a lot the same way. One thing I can say is there does seem to be a little bit of a yaw tendency when I get out of the controls, and that could just be wind. So let's try landing here. It's not too bad at all, guys.
It did it.
I would say for sure this thing is definitely a keeper. If you guys are looking for a fun entry-level plane that's reasonably inexpensive, that comes with everything you need, first of all, this Eachine has you covered on the 400 millimeter Warbird series. You can do the P-51, you can do the F4U Corsair, or you can do the T-28, all of which would be great choices. But if you'd like something that'll go a little bit slower and, you know, just kind of a different experience, this thing is good. And by the way, the prop is not on the front. It's a pusher style prop. It is a big motor. You'll see it's pretty big. Everything is reinforced. It's actually really well put together. It's a little bit strange to have a polyhedral wing with ailerons. I would almost think that they would just do a dihedral and just get on with it. But it actually it does a good job. So I'm surprisingly does a really good job. This is the surprising plane of the day. And the other two were not surprising. But at the same time, I'm just going to tell you guys, check the link in the description below. You can buy one for your very own. If you want to buy a couple, then you've got one for the kids that are jealous of you. Dad, I know you're going to buy yourself one, but then buy one for the kid too. Anyway, stick around. We're going to unbox this thing. We're going to set up the radio, which takes about 3 seconds. You'll notice I did not use the one-touch return to home. That's because I don't believe in that technology. All it does is wherever you take off from, first of all, you have to set it so that it knows what direction it's going. It's going to turn around 180 degrees, and that's it. You're done then. And if it comes, it's like if you have a flyaway and you can't tell where it's going and you press that button, it's going to attempt to turn around until it comes back at you. That's it. Then it's going to fly right past you, and then you're screwed, basically. So don't depend on that technology unless you want to lose planes. If it's too windy to fly, push the elevator all down, put it in expert, and land it on the ground. This thing is sturdy. It will stand up to it. If you land on grass, you're going to be fine. You can just run it into the ground, essentially, and you should be okay. So, like I said, if you have a flyaway, put it to expert, push the elevator down, and get it to the ground. That's how you solve that problem. Don't depend on this return to home. That thing isn't going to do you any good. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be super windy, and it's going to be the problem you're facing. It's going to have nothing to do with anything else. So just put on expert, get it back to you, point it on the ground, and then go retrieve it from the yard or from the flight field or wherever you are. Definitely below the FAA weight tolerances. So you're not 250 grams or higher. This is definitely way below that. So you don't need any drone registry, which is really nice. Can you fly it inside? Probably not. It's a little bit too fast, unless you're talking about a couple gymnasiums like basketball courts, and you could do that. But even at that, it flies a little quick for that, I would say. Any thoughts, camera crew?
That's a good one. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I mean, super surprising. I love it when we find a good plane in the middle of winter. We've had just a really bad run of it for weather, so thanks for sticking with us, guys. As you can see, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm shivering, but we appreciate you sticking around. Watch the build video if you want to watch. It's really simple, and we didn't have any problems with this one, but you do have to put this one together. It's like, you know, snap it together sort of thing. So you might pick something up that helps you out, and when you buy, just follow the link. Thanks for watching. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. I feel like it's been so long that we're going to open this garbage bag right now. What's in this garbage bag, you might ask?
A garbage bag anymore.
Huh?
It's hardly a garbage bag. It's like...
They've kind of switched away from the garbage bags, and now it's like a garbage bag covered in tape.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is premium garbage bags.
We're moving up a step.
They are. They really are. but still no packaging, just good. I mean, well, that's not true. The other day, they also had some, they had some cardboard from lunch. Or, well, no, that was a box. That was a box. Well, we're gonna see. By the way, if you guys didn't know, I mean, this is gonna come as a total surprise to most of you. If you wanna buy this thing, we have links to every item that we review. Virtually every single one of them. Yes, even the discontinued ones. What is that? Oh, that's so cool. It's the Eachine Mini WingDragon. Okay, this is a ready to fly offering, meaning it comes with everything you need to fly. I've had a few people asking me about this one. It looks like a good, possibly kind of like a beginner plane. It looks really simple, 2.4 gigahertz, no glue required. It has a homey thing, automatic return home. I think we've talked about that a few times. I think we're gonna figure out if that actually works. This is an Eachine product. So if it's like I remember it being on other planes, it doesn't really work. So we're gonna talk about that. If it does work, great. But here on Brian Phillips YouTube, here on Brian Phillips RC on YouTube, we're gonna tell you the truth, unlike what the manufacturers will sometimes try to get away with, which is less than fully truthful. Okay, so we have a nice package here. The wing is inside, very cool. Look how they package that. That's a little bit different. This wing looks so familiar. It's almost like I feel like I've seen it before and I haven't. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. Well, I mean, not right this second. There's carbon fiber in there. That feels nice. Feel that. And then they have carbon fiber reinforced control surface. That's like a first ever. Look at this. Look at this. You can see them. Well, you can see them without the light.
I was gonna say, we could see them.
Okay, so we have lots of foam all over everything. That's annoying. Return to home is up here. They have new decals. This is their newer style transmitter. I hate it when the foam gets all torn up like that on the transmitter because it just like goes everywhere.
It's like cat hair. We'll have to
Stick
like pick it up.
for throttle, rudder, aileron, elevator, and then this is beginner, middle one, and advanced. Okay, middle one. It's beginner 2, middle 1, and advanced 0. Okay, return to home. I don't know why they bother numbering it. It's not like anything else is numbered. That power switch looks super high quality. I think they got that off of another toy. But anyway, 2.4 gigahertz digital radio control system, throttle, trim. Okay, so that's nice. It's got what would normally be a bind button, but it says return home. So return home, I don't believe it until I see it, because typically to return home on Eachine means I turn around 180 degrees from where I took off. So if I took off on a runway or like on the driveway or wherever it is that you're flying, then it would just come back the opposite direction. Then when you press it again, it just keeps going. So it's a get out of jail free card, except I don't even trust it once, let alone ever. There's the vertical stabilizer. Here's the horizontal stabilizer. Okay, that carbon fiber seems somewhat ineffective, but it's very light. That's awesome. There's one landing gear in here. Then there's a spare prop. It looks like some sort of a doohickey, and then a screwdriver, the last of which, okay, that one's glued, so that worked. And then let's pull out the fuse. Oh, we have a charger here. We have a charger. Look, USB charger. Oh, good. This is a Xeon input, 5 volts, output 3.7 by 800 milliamp hours. Okay, that's good. I haven't found the batteries yet. They're probably in the fuse. Okay, so we have landing gear in here. Reasonable sized. I like the way they look. Nice bearing. Nice kind of a, look at that. It's got a plastic bearing in there. That's cool. Haven't seen that on anything like this. Okay, so we're gonna pull this thing out. The fuse is in here. It's got foam to protect foam. Since when they start doing that?
Whoa.
Look at that. One of my rods is bent. I hate it when that happens. Maybe it's supposed to be bent. I guess we'll find out very briefly. Okay, so, you know, this plane reminds me of another plane that I've flown. I don't think we're gonna need this piece of tape here. I think that they use that to hold the motor mount on while the glue is drying. Okay, push your brushed motor. Okay, single servo for ailerons. Of course, the aileron linkages are here. I really like the fact that this is a seemingly 4-channel plane. That was tangled up on the wire for the motor. Make sure that those wires don't get caught by the screw when you put your top wing on, okay? So, and you can see down in there, there's some stuff. Okay, this, oh, okay, so I don't know, do you pull that up? Or how does that work? There's texture
like
there.
Push it down to release it, like pop it.
No, that sure doesn't feel like it. Some of these canopies can be really challenging. Okay, so, ooh, did you see what I just did? I just spun the servo. So I want to get that center back up. So everything seems reasonably easy to put together. Let's see if we can figure it out without instructions. You want? Okay, so we're just going to stick this in the doohickey. Now, why would I go this direction? Because the control surfaces are above the boom. So I have to assume that that's really sturdy. It's square and it's quite strong. Okay, so we're going to slide that in. Usually the assembly on these little planes is really easy. Sometimes it's not. It just depends on how many problems you run into. I don't know how far that's supposed to get rammed in. Camera crew, do you have any idea?
I would think all the way.
Hey,
Usually.
where's the, oh, here it is, the instruction manual. And by the way, I can't get the canopy open, so I can't find the batteries. Oh, wait. Dang it. There's a screw. Ow, right through the sack. I'm gonna loosen this. Oh man, that screwdriver is like dinky. Dinky and hard to use. But it did work. Oh, and there's not a clasp. Nice, guys. Okay, so this has a 380 milliamp 1S pack, 3.7 volts. Nice print, easy to read. It's got Molex connector on here. I like to call them low-C, but that's a Molex connector. Let's go see if we can use the stock charger and see kind of how that works. Okay, so just your run-of-the-mill, everyday Joe sort of charger. We're gonna use this USB plug. Plug it in, there should be a light that comes on. Okay, I don't see a light until the battery gets in then, in that case. So this is keyed, you can only put it in one way. Then a red light comes on. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yep.
You sure they can see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna unplug that, and then I'm gonna use a much better charger. We link to these. This is in the smart batteries and chargers down below. Okay, so this one, we're gonna press and hold. We'll just charge it at 0.4. If you really wanted to charge it at the right current, you could just scroll that down to 3.8. It's pretty precise. And then at 0.38 amps hours, it will charge this. So we're gonna let that charge. Now, most of these little packs you can charge at sometimes upwards of 2 to 3C, which means if it's a 380 milliamp hour, if you figure on 400, then that would give you 800 milliamp hours. So you could do that one on, you know, it'd be fine. It'd be fine if you went up to 800 milliamp hours or 0.8 amp hours. Okay, so the instruction manual, this is from, it says 40-minute charge time. Oh man, that's a long charge time. Okay, so it does look like we have low rate and high rate is on this button. So that's low rate, that's high rate. Rudder trim, aileron trim, elevator trim. This is mode 2, so throttle, rudder, elevator, and ailerons, and then of course your mode. This is a power switch. There's a power LED here, and then the return home button, okay? All right, so here's the assembly. It does not give you a detail of how far that needs to go in. Okay, so this thing should lift up and out like that. I'm just gonna have to pull hard. Sometimes it's a little scary because the glue will actually stick these things. So I'm gonna actually get my finger underneath. Yep, there it goes. it came out now. Hey, look, it's our other one. That's cool. So we're going to look in here. There's your multi-servo receiver. Okay, multi-purpose brick, if you will. So that's going to run your elevator and your rudder back here. I can't tell if this is supposed to be bent. In fact, we should get this one started too. This one came in at 380 milliamp hours as well. And this one, we'll go ahead and plug it in. We'll just start that one at 0.4 amps. 0.4 amps will be plenty sufficient. And you can always use just a regular USB charger. That's totally fine. But in our case, we happen to have this nice multi-battery charger and it works great, so we're going to use it. This plane is extremely light, so I'm actually quite excited to see how well it flies in an exterior environment, because that motor looks pretty decent size. Being that it's direct drive, it should be able to handle this weight. It's very light. Okay, so I don't see a detail at all. They're suggesting putting this into the inside hole on the ailerons and the outside hole on the rudder and elevator. I'm assuming that's for both. Okay, so does that make sense, guys? I'm going to show you right now why that makes sense. So this thing, wow. Is that like crazy short or what?
Well, does it need to go in further?
The servo was kind of goofed up, the position. Yeah, that's going to have to go further. Okay, so mine is bent here, and that is not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be straight like this, okay? So I had to straighten mine. No big deal. Yeah, this has to get pushed in further. I'm just afraid it's going to like rip all the way through, guys. It's making me quite nervous. I'm going to take this screwdriver and lift up on the inside of that plastic. And then I'm going to try to push it in. Oh, man, that's scary. Oh, it's getting caught on the lip of there, right here. This little spot here, it's getting caught. So I'm gonna go in here with the screwdriver and just lift a little teeny bit. Just try to stretch it out just a hair. And it's not impossible we have that wrong. No, it is pretty much, it goes this way. 100% sure of it. Based on all the other factors, it's gotta go that way. You kind of gotta go up and down with it, that's what it is. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm just scared it's going to shoot through and like stab me.
Me too. There's nothing holding it in, is there?
Well, I mean, there's quite a bit of pressure holding it.
Well, I know.
I mean, if I can barely push it in, then
yeah,
I should try harder.
I guess.
So if you can't reach your elevator, you're not all the way in. That's one good telltale sign. Telltale, get it? Telltale. Oh man, I do not like this step. Because, like, how am I supposed to force it any further? And that is definitely carbon fiber, because I'm getting it in my skin, and it's itchy. Oh, there it goes. I think I got it. Okay, so that's all the way back, and you can tell because it goes all the way back to the bottom of the spot there. Now, they want us to put this into the top hole. There's 3 holes. So you see how there's 3 holes here, guys? You just stick the doohickey through the hole, and then it clips on itself. That worked surprisingly easy. Then this is the vertical stabilizer. It's got 2 hook points. Show them the hook points here. See? 2 hook points. So when I slide this down and then slide it back, it hooks. If you get it down far enough, it does. What am I doing wrong? There it goes. Okay, that was easy.
So it hooked on those little tabs.
Yeah, and then it doesn't mention anything about the rudder compared to the elevator, so I'm just going to assume it wants the same thing. Wow, that's like, oh, you want to know why that's out so far? Look at the servo. The servo's out, so I'm centering that by finger, and then that should get us where we need to be. Yeah, it's close. We'll have to trim a lot, I bet. So it looks like this goes in the outside hole or the inside hole. And then there's a middle one too, if you're really into trying different holes. Come on now. You want to show them from over here because I can't do a different angle here. Okay, there it goes. There it goes. That actually stays in there pretty good too. I'm happy with that. That's nice. I was not expecting that. Now those control rods are weak, so that makes me a little bit nervous about their efficacy. So now these linkages go out the side of the fuse like that, so that when you lay the wing on, it's quite easy then to manipulate the control surfaces. Did we talk about batteries all the way? Yeah, 4 AA's, if I didn't mention it earlier.
We just haven't gotten them yet.
Okay, so this thing needs to drop on here. Just like that. It's got 2 kind of keyed areas that it goes. And I am going to go ahead and screw the wing on. So a screw sack is provided here. Okay. Hold on a sec. There's this little white thing. I want to see what it is. Okay. I don't see it. This little white thing. That little white thing. So let's dump all the goodies out. Lots of little bags, surprising for a Chinese style. Oh, there's an on-off switch. That's kind of cool. Why is there a third? What is the? Oh, that goes back here. Okay, so that goes back here. That just slides into this. Oh, get in there. Oh man, I'm afraid of getting stabbed. Because that looks like the type of thing that you would get stabbed on. And I'm not sure if I'm doing it right because it's kind of like blind. You have to stick it in the blind hole. Just hope whatever's in the hole is what you want to stick it in.
Seems a little risky.
Yeah. Okay, and then there are what appears to be 2 screw holes here too on the landing gear. Okay, so we'll just lay that down. Over there, over there.
So there's nothing to protect those
Nothing to protect those
wires?
what? Those wires?
For the control?
The swires?
The swires.
What
I was
swires?
going to say servo wires, but they're just...
Oh, the servo wires? No, I don't. They'll be fine. Okay, look at this, camera crew. These are some small screws here.
Oh, man.
I know. There's 2 like this and 2 like that, it looks like. So now we get to figure out which one's which. I'm assuming that these are for the landing gear and these are for the wing. I could be wrong.
That would have been my guess, too.
Well, that was easy. We've been having problems with screen lately.
We have been.
Lots of big problems.
Not good.
No.
Nobody wants screwing problems.
Nope. Look at this. You have damage on the wing. That's annoying.
Oh, yeah.
That's very disappointing. Okay, so we got this tight. Okay, so both of them are tight. Now let's check the underside, make sure we're closed up here. Okay, so we're closed. Now we're going to take the linkages and land them on the ailerons. Now the ailerons do show a little bit different setup. They want those on the inside hole, okay? That's going to give us more control output. So you stick the doohickey through the hole and then you snap it into the other half of the doohickey receiver. I think it's called a clevis, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure doohickey also equally represents what we're dealing with. It's kind of funny because that noise sounds like cats making meowing noises. Okay, so there you have it so far. We're getting there, guys. We do have a spare prop. We have 2 more screws. I think the 2 screws go here. And, oh, it's an extra clip for one of those things. So,
Or the little white thing?
Yep, that's what that is. See this, guys? That's the extra thing I got. So in case one comes off, I guess they decided to give us an extra and a spare prop. And let's just throw the canopy back on now that we have this all assembled so you can kind of see what it looks like. That snaps in, but boy, that is hard to get out. What am I doing wrong?
Probably nothing.
Oh, goodness gracious. Like, can you even grab that? Wow, those nails look pretty.
Thanks. No.
See, I can't get it either.
No, that's crazy.
Why do they make it so hard? Ooh.
I don't know.
That's really challenging. Okay, so I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to get some more texture on that thing somehow. It's actually really easy once you get that unsnapped. It's just got this pressure fit on here.
Can you
I could,
like widen out where it clips on so it doesn't clip so tight?
well, it's kind of nice that it clips tight now because then when it's been used a little bit, it won't be all reamed out and loose.
Well,
Exactly. So we're gonna put this here. We're gonna put these extra screws because I am not gonna use those screws unless I absolutely have to.
on the landing gear?
Yeah,
Oh,
just
okay.
because I don't want to have the screws in there. I'd rather have the landing gear just pop off of there. And plus, I might want to just fly it without landing gear.
Right.
I am going to need the screw that goes into the back of the transmitter once we get the batteries in. So our next step at this point is going to be basically, yeah, because those landing gear don't come out too easy. So I think you'd be okay to not use the screws on there. Some of the Eachine products, you absolutely need the screws on. This one, I don't think you do. So the next step for us is going to be to get some AA batteries for our transmitter, and we'll come right back. So we were going to put batteries in real quick, and then I just realized we put the doohickey in the wrong hole. On the rudder. Yeah, so we're in trouble, so we got to fix that.
That's too bad.
I basically referred to a later page in the manual trying to find where to put the decals, and then it mentioned rudder on the inside, elevator on the outside, and aileron on the inside. So we are going to change that as soon as we get these batteries in.
Yep.
Okay, so I have to tighten that screw, which is, oh, okay, fancy. So we're ready to go with that when we're done. And let's fix the rudder. Of course, the rudder is here. So this needs to be unsnapped. So I'm going to take my not much of a fingernail and pop that up, and then I'm going to slide it out by very gently pushing down on the control doohickey. I bet that's really easy to film.
Super easy.
Especially when you're in the light. There you go. How about now? Is that better or worse?
That's all right.
Okay, so I'm going to go into the doohickey's going to go in the hole here. And once that lines up, then you can verify and then poke it through, and that snaps nicely. Actually, it works good. I was really nervous. Some of those are really not good.
Yeah.
And some are okay. Some are in the middle, but this one here worked pretty good. And I noticed these are pinch hinges, but there's very little hinge material. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, that's pretty cheap and crappy, right? Well, while that is true, it's necessary because when you use these really, really, really light servos like this, you cannot demand much torque of them or they will not work. So you have to have them light. All right, so let's put the decals on. The battery is currently charging for this thing, so that'll give us a few more minutes. And the Mini Dragon, where does that go? That goes on the side of the fuse. Okay, so Mini Dragon, Mini WingDragon. So that goes here. Oh, that goes on the other side, like this. You can tell because it's a little bit narrower at the nose. I'm not sure I'm crazy about these decals. I was actually thinking about leaving them off altogether. But, you know, we're going to put them on just because we want to demonstrate what it's like if you do it stock. Plus, this is going to add a lot of strength to the aircraft. And I know you're thinking, seriously, you're going to get strength from your stickers? Yeah, you actually will quite a bit on this one. Okay, so now we're going to do the wings. Okay, so this wing is going to be like this. There's a little bit of a winglet. So you got to make sure you don't start here. It'll kind of bind up on you. Okay. And then this one here. I don't mind the occasional shameless advertisement. Release that. There we go. Now we got it. I don't think this is going to be an overly speedy plane, so I don't think it's going to peel those up. So then these go on to the vertical stabilizers. All right, so let's see if that's challenging or not. That probably would have been a little bit easier to do before the vertical stabilizer was mounted. What do you think of the stickers, camera crew?
They're okay. We've seen worse. What?
I think they're kind of ugly.
Well, I didn't say I thought they were beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a scale aircraft, so it's kind of a trainer. I'm not crazy about them.
But you're gonna need the differentiation, especially as a trainer, from top and bottom. So see the stickers from on the top.
So on the bottom, it's gonna look like this, and on the top, it's gonna look like that. So should be pretty straightforward. This is not a steerable tail wheel, which is gonna make it a little harder on ground handling. So just keep that in mind. But there's not a servo of this size that's gonna drive one of those effectively. Okay, so the last step is to basically test the radio system. We'll come right back. Okay, so the mini WingDragon, while we were waiting on the last couple seconds of charge, we're gonna write on here, mini WingDragon, like it's one word. I don't understand.
Today.
I mean, don't all dragons have wings? I thought that was like one of the things that made a dragon a dragon.
It's a mini, like a small WingDragon.
Oh, so it's got small wings on a dragon, on a full-size dragon.
No, it's a small dragon with regular small-size wings.
WingDragon.
You're thinking reading a little bit too much into it, I think.
Mini WingDragon.
It's a long name for a little battery.
I agree. Mini WingDragon.
But mini dragon. We don't have any other dragons, do we?
Well, I don't know. Maybe someday we will. So that's the trouble when you get a million different planes, is you're not really sure when you're going to be using them and you know what they're going to be up against. So that being said, I kind of like the construction. I think it's very simple. It's definitely not one of the most beautiful trainers I've ever seen. So my concern is that we're still going to find that this plane or the P-51 or the F-4U Corsair is going to be still just as easy to fly. However, look how much bigger this plane is, okay? Size matters when you're talking about airplanes. It really does. It makes a different flight experience, and it's flying on the same battery. What I'm concerned about is this is going to end up being over 250 grams, in which case then you'd have to do the drone registry, which is a pain in the neck. So I'd rather not. I mean, it's not that big a deal. If you're flying airplanes, you've already done it. But I'm just going to measure this right now without the battery. Oh, it's only 89 grams. Okay, so that means that we're for sure going to be good. I'm just going to pull one of these batteries here. Throw it on there. Oh, I tipped it into the counter. Okay, so we're at 100 grams. Okay, so that's good. So if we're at 100 grams, guys, then that means this is under the drone registry limit, which is nice. Now, this battery, full disclosure, is not fully charged. It's like at 4.2 volts, so it's basically fully charged. So let's go ahead and see how it behaves when we plug it in. You will have already seen the flight. If you're just watching this now, if we run into problems that we resolve before the flight, you can look now and watch what we do. Okay, so as described earlier, this is 380 milliamp hours. So we're gonna lift the canopy off. We're gonna turn on the throttle. Excuse me, we're gonna turn on the transmitter. We're gonna make sure the throttle's all the way down, and it is. And then this thing has kind of a pocket here where that will be received. And black to black, red to red, it's only gonna go in one way. Drop this down. They don't even discuss the CG, the center of gravity. So I'm just gonna assume it's not gonna be that really worried about the CG. This battery needs to go back just a hair, or it needs to drop down more. There is a little bit more room for dropping down. You see that one wire there? Look at that. That one black wire was on the wrong side of that receiver for the landing gear, and so I'm going to move that with my fingernail, so that allows the battery to drop down to the spot where it's supposed to be. And then make sure that your leads don't prevent the servos from actuating. Okay, so we got that. Let's set that down now. Now, you'll notice it's not doing anything, so throttle up, throttle down, nothing.
To turn it on first.
Oh, there's an on switch. I'm sorry, guys. The power switch is on. It's sprung to life. There's the elevator up, elevator down, aileron left, aileron right, rudder left, rudder right. Okay, so that's pretty good. I do notice that there's a pretty huge disparity in this aileron here. It's pointed down, and this one's straight or flat. But I do notice that this rudder is also a huge disparity. It's pointed way to the left. Now you could try to trim it, but you're gonna run out of trim. Or that's the ailerons too. That's the center. Doesn't seem to be moving much.
Nope, like it all.
I want to hear the big loud noise. Okay, so let's assume that's the center. Okay, so obviously this needs to be mechanically adjusted.
You're losing your...
Oh, the decal's already
I'll see a
fallen?
little bit.
So you remember earlier how we disconnected this? We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get our fingernail in there, pull it up, pull the doohickey out of the hole. This is where you wanna be a little bit careful you don't break the doohickey off, because if you break the doohickey off, you're in trouble. Because then you gotta modify this stuff and it's a real pain in the neck. So you see the doohickey stuck through? I'm gonna lift it up with my thumbnail. You see the doohickey there? The tip? There's a detent on there. There's like a relief. It's like a round ball on the end of a shaft. And that's what holds it through this assembly here. And it's quite challenging to get them out once they've already been in there a couple of times. It's sometimes almost impossible. Goodness gracious. I'm having a really hard time getting that out of there.
Do you need a tool?
I wonder if I used a flat screwdriver if that would help. I want to try one more time. Oh, get out of there. I'm just afraid I'm going to break this thing. Okay, so I'm going to try with my fingernails, another fingernail. Nope, we're going to try with a flat bladed screwdriver. We'll come right back. So another thought, make sure you're in advanced mode when you're doing your mechanical trims. If you're in beginner and you have this thing tipped, it might be trying to auto level itself so the control surfaces can move. Okay, so with the screwdriver, it makes it a lot easier. I'm just using a small flat screwdriver, and then you can use that to help leverage this thing off of the end. It's still challenging because it just happens to be a pretty small thing, okay? So now it's off of there. And so the idea is you want that spot to line up with this square. So you see how that's square now? So holding it square, you can tell about where that needs to go. So this has to thread on here a bunch. And that is threaded, okay? See how it's threaded there? And then it's smooth. So you have to somehow brace this. Usually I take 2 fingers like this and hold, and then you can spin it a bunch of times. Like probably 20 times. It's gonna take a lot of turns. And then as you, wow, that actually not too many. See? We're basically right where we need to be, I would say. Okay, so now we're gonna take and push this doohickey back through the assembly on the control arm. You wanna go to the inside hole per the manual. Oh my goodness. Some of these steps are just not very easy because this thing is so dang small. Like, why was this not assembled again, this part? I don't get that. Was it too big? Didn't look like it was too big. Okay, now look how nice and lined up that is. Got good even difference on left and right. Cool. All right, so now the elevator. The elevator does look like it's going down just a hair. So we need to bring that up just a hair. Okay, so what we're gonna do on that, now remember we're in advance, so it's not trying to auto level. Okay, so I'm gonna take this screwdriver and just twist a little bit. I'm gonna have to go in here. It's not wanting to pop off easy, okay? And remember, this one's pointed down just a hair, so we're probably only gonna turn it in maybe 1 or 2 turns. Okay, see how I'm able to kind of force that off of there? Okay, so now we can go. There's 1 half, there's 1, there's 1 more half, and there's 1. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this vertical so I can see it really good with my eyes and just see that it's lined up. Can you give them a shot of this, please, here, right here? Can you get that angle? Then I wanna see that that is gonna be lined up, and right now it looks like it's gonna be pulling up just, oh no, that's about right. So I think we got it. So now let's stick the doohickey back through. Come on, there you go. and then through it goes, and then through it goes again, okay? So now we're gonna check for free motion. Elevator up, elevator down, rudder left, rudder right, aileron roll, aileron roll. And this one's way, way, way off. This one's actually pretty good. I don't know what happened to the other side. It's kind of weird. So now, since we're an expert, it's not trying to auto left. If you're a beginner, it might move control surfaces, okay? So that's why you go to advanced or experienced. Okay, so I'm gonna pull the doohickey out. All right, so now that relaxes down. So that means obviously we need to spin this out a few times. Okay, so there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7, there's 8, there's 9, there's 10, there's 11, there's 12. Even closer, 13, 14, 15, 16, geez. Probably another 17, 18, 19. We're looking good. Now you can just hold that down. That's really close. I think I overshot by 2. 1, 2. Okay, so let's try this. And these are the type of steps that seem like such a waste of time until you get up flying and then you're like, oh, look, it's actually pretty good. Okay, I went too far. I got to go back probably 2 more.
And if you're just starting out and you're learning to do this on a small plane like this, it's the same process when you get a big plane if you're trimming,
mechanically.
making those adjustments.
Show them down the length of the aileron. The trailing edge of the aileron is in perfect alignment now. That's what you want. Now that doesn't mean after you adjust this for flight, you may trim it and it's not in perfect alignment. But you want to start with it perfectly aligned and then adjust from there. That's going to give you the best chance at success. And remember, if this is a trainer for you, you want to have every opportunity at success. Do not cut corners when you're beginning. When you're a little bit more experienced, you can get away with more of that and still have success because you have more skill to make up for it. But even a skilled pilot will end up with a crash if he cuts too many corners. Okay, I'm inexperienced. I went up and down to arm it off camera. It's got a lot of power, like quite a bit. I might have more to 1 to 1. It's pretty close. It's not quite 1 to 1. That's pretty good. So elevator, rudder, ailerons. Now let's see what happens when we go to beginner mode. It's going to try to level the plane. Now what happens when you're upside down? It finds the quickest route. What, does it keep it level upside down? That's weird. That'd be cool if it did. So then look at the rudder. See the rudder? The rudder's going to try to help too. So when I move this that way, it counters it. When I move it that way, it counters it. See how it's moving toward whatever direction I'm going? That's called stabilization. Look at the rudder. See how it moves toward the direction I'm moving it? Is it focusing, camera crew?
Yeah, well, it's just really hard to see.
Now look at the elevator. It goes down and then it goes up. Down and then up. Obviously, I'm not controlling that. That's just that's actually stabilization. And then the auto leveling is usually on the ailerons. So that's gonna, when you let go of the sticks, it's gonna bring it level. Let's see how it glides through the room. I'm not gonna power it, obviously. Need a little bit of room for this because it's a little bit heavier than the last couple. Cool. So as you can see, it keeps it nice and level. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like when I go to experienced in the same condition. If I give it a nice gentle toss like that, and of course we have a beautiful cat tree to stop it from running through the room. Okay, I'm going to go to experienced. That shuts off all stabilization. Okay, now watch what happens. Okay, that flew pretty good too. But basically the gist of it is, when you throw this plane, it's got to keep it going straight and narrow. Of course, there's no wind in this room either. We could simulate wind. Okay, so in beginner, it's going to try to keep it level. So let's try one more time. I'm going to go a little bit further back, and I'm going to try throwing it up like this, like I'm trying to stall it. Okay? So we learned 2 things from that. That brings it to a rate of descent that's acceptable, and it ran into this glass thing. It didn't break anything. It's got some strength to it. It's not going to take, you know, like a 100-mile-an-hour hit. And my concern is like right here, it'd probably break those mounting points. So, but I am confident this thing is going to fly well. If they glide that good through your living room, it's gonna fly well outside for sure. This is probably not gonna fly inside, maybe inside of a gym. You ready? So as you can see, it takes a little bit of speed to fly because it's just heavy enough. You have to keep it flying. And this wing is actually not super big. So I wanna see if I can get it to fly in here. So in beginner mode, did you notice it's really wanting to go down? That's kind of weird. Let's calibrate the gyro according to the manual. Because it really felt like it was pushing it down quite a bit. There's an instruction manual that comes with this. I did notice the landing gear got bent a little bit on that. Let's figure out how we can calibrate the gyro. So there's a spot where okay, so if you want to set the 1 key return home, place the plane on the ground pointing to the front of the flying field, power on the transmitter, then the plane. Make sure the binding is finished, then press return home button. The rudder will move back, then neutral means, okay, so let's try that. Is that return home is up here? Okay, so it didn't do it. It's because we didn't follow all the instructions. Okay, so we don't care. Note, this function will only make the plane fly backward against the takeoff direction. So you can use this function when the plane is in front of the takeoff point. If the plane already goes to the back of the takeoff point, when you press the return home button, it will keep flying the same direction, far away from you.
That's the best.
So like I've explained, the return home function is not helpful. It doesn't save you any trouble. But, oh, the return home button's up here. Okay, I don't see anything. There's no actuation of this. So whatever, I don't care. I actually am never gonna use it because I don't trust it. I don't want it to fly away on me.
Yeah.
Okay, so the binding procedure, hand launch takeoff, ground launch. Okay, so mode 2 shown, that's what we have here. Obviously land into the wind. Manually trim adjusting. Okay, yeah, I don't even see anything about calibrating the gyro. So I'm not sure what to think on that, other than the fact that if I turn this into advanced mode, I wonder if it'll let us fly in here. Because I just want to see if it'll fly, just because we can do that. Because when it's your house, you can crash into it all you want. There is a little bit of a thrust angle issue. I think that's part of it. It's pointed up a little bit, and so I think that's wanting to kind of push it over. Yeah, just not quite enough elevator at this speed, and the size of the room is just not quite there. But at 100 grams, it's not super heavy, and it is fairly resilient, except the landing gear. The landing gear do seem like they've bent up a lot on those really pretty horrible landings. So I would say that, so far, that's the only weak spot. And by the way, this thing does look pretty sweet when you take the landing gear out, I think. I think it looks good. It's simple. The dihedral is going to help with the auto leveling function. I'm excited to see this thing fly. Obviously, it's dark out, so we're not going to see it fly for at least until tomorrow. But if the weather is cooperative also, and I don't think it's going to be. So that being said, guys, if you are interested in helping support the channel, we do a lot of different things here to help support the flying community at large. Namely, showing you guys the stuff that's available, and you can decide if you like it or not. We're going to give you honest reviews. Obviously, we do stand to gain something if you like it and you buy it. We'll get supported a little bit, so that's nice. But here's our take on that. Okay, suppose we're reviewing this plane. Okay, and it's just garbage. Okay, I stand nothing by telling you to buy something that sucks. Now that being said, I'll let you buy this for my link if I think it sucks. But let's say this is way better. I'm not saying it is, by the way. I haven't flown either of these yet. But let's say this one's way better. Or let's say that T28 is way better. I don't care what you buy. Just buy something. When you're gonna buy a plane, and you're gonna buy a plane and you know you're gonna buy it, then just come out and check out what's going on. And if you don't see what you like, then you can comment and I'll help you out. Or you can just look in the description and we have, you know, like all the E-flite things, and then you have links to some of these, you know, Boeing 7, you know, this 737 MAX 9, you know, doesn't really support us. But the thing is, I would like to see these around more because I love airliners and they're not super popular. Like this little Cessna, the Citation Longitude is awesome. You can buy those. There's just a million really cool planes, and we've flown, I mean, we're getting up to where it's almost hundreds. And so we have good experience. Like we know this plane is good based on comparison to 70 other planes. And that's not normal. I mean, unless you've been doing this for 20 years. And so when we say, hey, this thing is okay, it's great, you know, it's good for a beginner, then you can take our advice. You know, whereas this thing I know is great and it's reasonably inexpensive. So they might be about the same price point. That's the other thing too you gotta remember is I don't ever talk price about this particular brand, especially because I never know what the price is because the prices do change. So if you like it and it gets popular, we have noticed that they'll change the price. So buy it now. Don't like wait 6 months and then come back because it might be 20 bucks more or 100 bucks more in a bad case. And I don't know why they do that. It just seems like such a stupid thing, but they do. So get used to it. That being said, there's a million choices. If one goes high and you don't like it because it's too expensive, we'll help you pick another one. Also, if you look at the end screens, they're probably popping up now. Just look at those. We're gonna recommend playlists that have a bunch of similar planes. And you can just scroll through and ignore anything you don't like and just go to the ones you do like. And then we also have usually a playlist for the given plane, except when they're small like this and we just kind of clump them together. So if we have an airplane like this, we'll have a whole playlist for it where we do modifications and things like that. We haven't done a lot of mods on that one yet, but we will eventually. So that being said, guys, thanks for watching. We wouldn't have the channel without you. If you want to buy this thing, check it in the link description and you can help support us that way. Come back for more. Okay, so you guys thought this was done and I did too. And then I looked inside of here. Look what's inside of there, guys. There's another battery in there. I totally missed it. So that means that we were actually quite a bit heavier than we really are on this aircraft. So I think when we were measuring earlier, we were just under 100 grams. Mm-hmm. And so we should be quite a bit less than that. So, oh, that's easy to read the display.
Mm-hmm. Super.
It's like 87 grams. And I just want to try it again. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I just want to try it again because I need to know if I can fly planes inside. I must know.
We've noticed. Hold on.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put this back in beginner mode. That's probably why it wouldn't auto level because it couldn't make up for that much weight. Yeah, not quite enough. Not quite enough still. But that's okay. You get the idea. We're sorry we forgot that.
So did it come with 2 batteries or 3?
It came with 3.
3.
Which is cool. Now, you guys should be able to pick how many batteries you want. So when you follow the link in the description below, then it'll say like 2 batteries. Sometimes there's color choices. And then just pick what you want and go with it. But I didn't want to leave that out. Sorry, guys. Come back for more.